Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, then a little introduction. This place shares stories, adventures, and everything I wish I'd known before embarking on them. My name is Trina, and you're watching From Fiji to Here. So the nausea is gone. Or is it? They say that the second semester is generally the best semester physically. Your body somewhat equilibrates, and all of those symptoms from the first trimester, like the nausea, constant need to pee, they're all supposed to dissipate, leaving you feeling more energized and not as sore as you might feel in the third trimester to come. We'll get into that in a future video. The reality is that every pregnancy is different, and for me, some symptoms stayed. I lucked out that I did not have the nausea, but I did have the morning all-day sickness that randomly came without warning. And this lasted way into the second trimester. This is also around the time that most women start to form their belly. Pregnant bellies come in all different shapes and sizes, and every woman is different. Every pregnancy is different on when they'll start to show, how their stomach will be formed. However, in general, for your first pregnancy, around that 20-week mark, the halfway mark, for myself, it was earlier and fast. Literally as though I had swallowed a basketball overnight. So much to the fact, actually, that people continuously asked me if we had twins, like close friends or strangers, didn't matter. Which leads me to my next point, which is in Canada, you don't get an ultrasound without reason, at least, before that 20-week mark when they do the anatomy scan. This meant that until my first scan, my response to all of these twins questions was, who knows, maybe. We honestly have no idea. There are a lot of places nowadays where you can pay to get an ultrasound done privately, which is often how people who wish to know the sex of their baby before that 20-week mark find out. Otherwise, if you can wait until the 20-week mark, your doctor can also inform you of the sex at the anatomy scan. Or if your doctor's not at your anatomy scan, which was the case for mine, when they get the results of the anatomy scan. If you want to get photos from said scan, make sure to tell them beforehand, because generally, you're not allowed to just pull your phone out to take pictures of the ultrasound screen, but sometimes they won't take the pictures unless you ask for them, which leads to the next topic that you'll want to decide on. We mentioned in the first trimester video things that you want to start thinking about, but you want to know before going into your anatomy scan if you're yes, I want to know the sex of my baby, or no, I don't want to know the sex of my baby, because if you're anywhere on the fence, you might find out something you don't want to know. You'll also want to decide whether you plan on sharing this news. Maybe you and your partner want to know the sex of the baby, but you wanted a surprise for everyone else until the baby's born. Often, people nowadays will throw parties to have a gender reveal. Dali is very impatient, so we opted for finding out the sex of Elisa. However, we had planned to keep it a secret for everyone else until the birth, just in case they weren't 100% positive it was a girl. However, as I had monthly ultrasounds for the remainder portion of my pregnancy, each ultrasound confirmed the sex as female, and we didn't have a party or reveal or anything like that, but it did slip out to quite a few people. Also, remember how I mentioned that this is when you'll feel the best during your pregnancy? The second trimester is also when most couples who choose to do a baby moon will go on it. Due to airlines having restrictions based on how many weeks you can fly at, as well as just comfortability, this would be the best time if you want to do a baby moon to plan for it. Just make sure to speak with your doctor beforehand. Due to COVID-19, we couldn't travel internationally even if we wanted to, but we did head down to Digby, Nova Scotia, where we had hoped to see some whales. It was actually supposed to be a whole video that you never saw on this channel because it was rainy, foggy, and miserable the whole weekend. We had no service and we got soaked, and it was not the greatest baby moon. The not so fun part of this trimester is the glucose test. Now, this has come a long way and varies in each hospital region. I lucked out and didn't have to drink the glucose syrup, as they initially just did a blood test, and if you passed that, you didn't have to do the syrup test. However, if the blood test comes back inconclusive or points to a possibility of gestational diabetes, then you do have to do the glucose syrup test. It's a 2-hour test that essentially you drink a very sweet, sugary drink in a certain time frame, and then they draw your blood at certain intervals to see how your body is processing the sugar. The whole purpose is to see if you've developed gestational diabetes, which is essentially diabetes that goes away with the delivery of the child. Okay, this doesn't mean that if you're diagnosed with it, you have to deliver your child right then and there. There are multiple treatment options, and most of the time it's manageable until baby is fully developed. So your bump has appeared and you're showing the world the existence of your little one to arrive. That little one that is going to need to be fed, clothed, and homed. Yes, this is the time, if you haven't already, that you're going to want to open a baby registry. Now, maybe you're like me and thinking, I don't plan on having any baby showers. What is the point of opening a registry? And I'm going to tell you, even if you're not going to share your registry with anyone but yourself and your partner, there's a couple of reasons to open one anyways. Number one, free welcome bags. Often just for signing up for a registry, you'll get like a bag full of like little goodies. Sometimes it's samples. However, the one I received from Toys R Us, and I also got one from Bye Bye Baby, had like full-size bottles, changing pads, the like baby on board car sticker, pacifiers, and more. So it's worth it just for that, in my opinion. Second thing is keeping track. If you're like we were and had things piling up in boxes or bags around your apartment or in a nursery, it can be easy to lose track of what you bought in trimester 1, what you still need to get. So a registry is a nice place where you can kind of check off your boxes. And number 3 might be the biggest one, the discount. So let's say you don't need anything else for baby. You've bought everything, everything's all good, you're ready. But then your little one's born and they don't like the bottles that you bought, or the pacifiers, or the clothes you bought are too small, or they're too big. Most registries will offer you a discount of the items that are remaining on your registry up to a certain amount of time after the baby is born. So once your baby's due date passes, you cannot add other things to your registry. However, whatever is remaining on that list, for us at least, we could receive a 40% discount on anything that was still on our list that hadn't been purchased yet. There is a great way to utilize this to your advantage by waiting until a month maybe before your due date, after you've had any baby showers or anything like that. Then go ahead and add to your registry anything else you don't necessarily want or need to have, but you think you might need. So if you've bought, one type of each bottle, like you've bought one Advent bottle, one Philips is the same one Komotomo, but just one of each to see which your baby likes. Go ahead and add the 4-pack to your registry. That way, if baby ends up liking the Advent, you can get the 4-pack at 40% off. Or you can add diapers there because you're going to need diapers. So you can then get them 40% off after baby's born. We're actually doing an entire video coming out next week on baby registries, what to get, what not to get, what we got. So we'll go into a lot more details in that video if you're interested. On that note, I think we should call it quits on this video because it's starting to get kind of long. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below and we'll respond in the comments. Also, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can see more like it, as well as join me on future journeys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, life is what happens between the plans that you make. Bye, guys.